And good evening to those of you on Facebook Live as we prepare to go live on the SVP TV network. Thank you so very much for joining me on this beautiful, cold Thursday night. Hope that we all going to be just laid back and you're ready to enjoy the show on tonight as we get ready to just do our thing and bring it to you. I'm going to be talking tonight with Abigail Noel, the psychic, who you've heard the other night on the show on the recording, who's been all over YouTube, saying that the spirit of Lorenzen Wright entered her body and shared with her how he died and names all of the names of the individuals who were involved. I'm going to be calling her about 7:30, which is 5:30 California time, and we're going to be talking with her on tonight. I'm also going to be expressing in just a moment on air my sincere gratitude to all of you who partook of our fundraiser for Miss Deborah Marion. It was very, very successful. The money, Miss Deborah Marion. I don't want the volume on. Let me cut this volume down. She has already received the money. As you can look at she has already received. As you can see from the money that from the Facebook Live that we did just about an hour ago, and we'll be talking about that in just a moment. Let's see who's coming in here. Sonia Robertson, Kelton Stason Dixon, Ellie, Tyrus Barnes, LaQuanda Shante Davis, Margaret Stout. It's going to be a very interesting show. Again, I am going to be calling the psyche that we've been talking about, that's been all over YouTube. And I didn't know until I talked with her the other night that we are Facebook friends. So that's going to be a lot of great conversation on tonight. Hoping your day has been great. It's been a marvelous day for you as well. I'm just ready to do it on this evening. Letitia, all right, Truda, good to hear from you. Levi Wagner, Wendy McCullum, Teresa Ray Sean Stove, all right, Shanika Boy, good to meet you today as well. All right. John King Judah Akins. Hey, Angela Davis, good to meet you today as well. And your husband, what was it, Clifford? I think that's right, Clifford Davis. Past the time. But this is all part of it. Turn up a little bit for me, Linda.
The views and opinions expressed on this talk
Let's go. Is it all right, y'all, if I keep my cap on?
Producers and/or persons appearing on the program and do not reflect the views and opinions of the SVP network. This program may include strong images and language and may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion advised. If you want to know, ask Thaddeus. If you want to know, ask Thaddeus. He will let you
Bobby Gladney, go pick up a body, man. What's up, Taj?
20 seconds.
They don't get it right.
10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2.
And just when you thought it was safe, it is absolutely, positively not. And good Thursday evening to you. Welcome again to still the most controversial, the hardest hitting, the most informative, the rawest television talk show anywhere on the planet, in the universe, in the solar system. That may be the same place, but hey, we're the baddest. Thank you so very much for being here with us, those of you who are watching us by way of Facebook Live, and those of you who are watching us on the SVP TV network. Thank you so very, very much for being here and being a part of what we do each and every day. As I start the show off tonight, let me take the opportunity to thank each and every one of our viewers that participated in the raising of money for the plight of Miss Deborah Marion, the mother of Lorenzen Wright. As it was reported on not only on this show, but on the media around the city, that when Miss Marion left her home, what's that day? Tuesday. When she left court on Tuesday, she got home and her utilities were cut off. Her church raised a little money for her, got the utilities on, but still left a bill out there. Then she received eviction papers that before the 23rd of December, which is early next week on Christmas, well, yeah, next week by next Friday, that she was facing eviction. I was sitting in my office when this came over the news, and I said, something has to be done. This mother has certainly been through the storm. She's been through a lot in dealing for 7 years and waiting to find out who are the conspirators, the participants in the murder of her son. And I said, look, I'm going to do what I can do. So as a pastor and as a talk show host with the largest audience in town, I said, let's do it. The goal last night, it was $1,700. I said, okay, let's do 34. When I arrived at the church this morning, in fact, there were about 8, 9 cars of people waiting on me. When I got to the church, we raised last night $2,700 on television last night. When those first people came into the office this morning, we was at about 32.55. And I kept going, and I kept going. And I'm glad to announce that because of you, the viewers of the Thaddeus Matthews show, we raised $6,000 from last night to about 2, 3 o'clock today. $6,000. Every dime that was raised was given. That money has already been given to Miss Marion. Those of you on the Facebook page, you can see exactly the presentation when I went to her residence, and we gave her $6,000. Those of you who wrote checks, her checks were given. The money that we received on the PayPal. We took the money off of the PayPal and got MoneyGrams, money orders for that. And then there was several $1,000s in cash. Also, from those of you who just walked in from all walks of life today, when you came by Naked Truth Liberation and Empowerment Ministries at 3835 Raleigh Militant Road. Boy, I love to see y'all Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. But we have already given her $6,000. And God is so good. I got a call from a friend of mine who does not want to be named, who is a business person. And he called me, he said, how much is it? At this particular person, and if he's watching, man, I appreciate you. This particular gentleman went and paid the mortgage company or whoever she's renting from, paid them up to date for her, went to Memphis Light Gas and Water and brought her Memphis Light Gas and Water bill current. But this is a woman who has had a lot of bills and basically no income. So the $6,000 that we gave today is going to help this woman. It's going to benefit this woman. And I'm just so glad to be a part of the feel good of making her feel good, to see the smile on her face. And I stated to her as I left that whatever this show can do, whatever Thaddeus Matthews can do for her, then we're going to do that. If you got any more issues, you got any more problems, call me. If I got to take the sanctuary and have a gospel benefit there, then go to the gymnasium in the back of the church and have an RB benefit, then that's what we're going to do. This is what it's all about. This is about what it means when it says, love thy neighbor as you love yourself. None of you had to do anything that you did, but you felt love and you felt compassion. You felt the plight that this woman has went through, the heartache that this woman has went through. We didn't go with no GoMe funds and all of that rhetoric because she needed this money instantaneously. We submitted to her $6,000 cash on today. Okay, $6,000 cash. And thank you again. Every one of you that pledged on last night, you came through on your pledge. And as Devils had the list in there, and she had the list of names of people who had pledged and people who had came on my, who had texted me they was going to pledge, all of you came through. God is certainly a good God, and I'm grateful to God that I have the platform and the influence to be able to help someone that was in need. So when I left her today, she was just as happy as she could be. She said, I'm going to take this tomorrow. I'm going to pay some bills in the morning. I'd like for you to go back. It's on the church Facebook page. You can go back and look at the presentation of us giving her the $6,000. That ain't no chump change. And that's because the people who watch this show are not chumps. You are a people that really look for a reason to give. And if giving to this woman was not a reason, there is not a reason. And again, I've invited her. I said, look, whenever you get ready to come on the air, ain't no censoring on my show. Whatever you want to do, whatever you need to say about this particular case and the death and the tragic murder of your son, then I'm all for you coming. Anytime, all you got to do is call me and say you want to come, and that is going to happen. And again, I can't thank you all enough for what you did. I mean, y'all showed up and showed out $6,000. You know, I said at first, let's do the 17. But then I said, well, if we do that, we need to do this. So I've said 34. And then when I got to the office and the people were waiting, I knew it was going to be a blessed day. I went on Facebook Live and stayed on Facebook Live for 3 hours this morning. I was just tired and knocking stuff over at my desk. My voice was tired, I was tired, but it was all about what we can do. I couldn't sit back and wait on no politicians to use this as a political tool. Let me say this, though. Let me say this to Benny Cobb. On last night, Mr. Cobb, I had called Benny Cobb earlier in the day about advertising on my show. And he called while the show was on. And I thought he knew what time I was on the air. So I thought he was calling to make a contribution as we were seeking contributions on last night. And he was calling me about the advertising, but I had him on the air. And I stated to him, I said, hey man, come on and give. Man, I got a GoFundMe. I don't finna get that started. I said, well man, come on, what it is that you finna give to that? Why don't you come on? We're trying to get her some right now money, because GoFundMe money, or GoFundMe, GoMeFund, or whatever it is, you got to wait when your campaign is over. You got to wait 7 days to get your money, okay? But what we were doing last night was instantaneous money. And why can't you just give the man? No problem, man. I understand politics. I understand, Benny, perhaps you thought that you creating a GoMeFund or GoFundMe was going to be good for your political race. It's fine. Like I told you, I ain't mad at you, brother. You did what politicians do. You tried to play the political game, but you lost my vote. I wasn't hostile with you, brother. I was trying to get some help for this woman that needed help. But you lost my political vote as well as my respect. And I'm going on record now as saying that I will be supporting Floyd Bonham for sheriff. Floyd Bonham, some of you don't know him, but I promise you that you're about to get well acquainted with his name in this community. Floyd Bonham is the second in command of the Shelby County Sheriff's Department. And in all honesty, it has been Mr. Bonner who has been running the Shelby County Sheriff's Department for the last year. The sheriff is not in the best of health. So it has been Floyd Bonner who has been running the Shelby County Sheriff's Department. He is a black man, and I'm going to be supporting him. In fact, I told Benny last night, I don't even want your advertising dollars. Keep that, because it's going to cost you at least $5,000. But so you take your $5,000 and you do something else with it. Benny, nice guy, but you've ran for office. This is your 4th time running for the sheriff. And I don't know what you're going to do differently this 4th time than you did the 3 other times. But pushing me and making it appear as though you wanted to use it as a political playground did not go over well with me. I will be supporting Floyd Bonner, who we've already talked last week or earlier in the week about advertising on the Thaddeus Matthews show. And I've been assured that he is. But I'm going on record. I will be pushing Floyd Bonham for sheriff of Shelby County. When you push me, I push back. When you attack me, I attack back. So, and I felt, Benny, that was so out of order last night. You've ran for office. This is your 4th time running. You have become a perennial, as they call it, perennial candidate for the sheriff's office. But I can assure you, as I told you, I'll just do my thing and you just keep on running. I'm not going to say anything disparaging about you, but I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to wonder how it is that a man that has ran for an office 3 times already and you're running again, what is it so different that you think that you're going to persuade the people to do this time than before, when we already got a black man that is the number 2 man on the sheriff's department, who has been basically running who's come up through the ranks. You came up to the ranks, you left as a captain, but this man, Floyd Bonham, is running the day-to-day operations of the Shelby County Sheriff's Department. You know, I'm tired of you candidates that want to run and run and run and run and think that because you've ran and ran and ran and ran, that the people should vote for you. Not this go round. Benny, I thought you knew that you should have been a little bit more tactful with me, especially on air and publicly. I was not going to allow you to use, and I'm not going to allow you to use, the tragedy of what Miss Marion has gone through for any other reason. So that's all I was saying to you, brother. Bring your money on in. I know a lot of y'all don't want to join in with anything I do because it's me. You're haters. But I want my haters to know it gets greater. See, those you pastors that talk about me, you didn't do nothing. I want to thank Pastor Leon Jones of the Dwelling Place. He gave his $100. Pastor Kelvin Bowen gave his $100. Pastor Lee Wilkins and his wife gave $200 on today. I don't think that there were any other pastors, any other ministers that gave, but you common people, the people. And see, that's what the Lord said, and the common people heard him gladly. It does not take the big muckly mucks, the bourgeois and the folk to do what God needs to have done what God needs to have done. It was people bringing in their 5s, their 15s, their $10. Yes, we had some hundreds. Yes, we had some 50s. And everybody came back. I allowed them to come back to my office. And we took pictures, we hugged, we had a good time. I thank you from the depths of my heart. But Benny, please know you shouldn't have got in it. Because now I'm going to do what I do. I'm going on record. I'm going to be endorsing, and I am endorsing right now and seeking the support. I will be bringing Floyd Bonham on my program. I'm going to be supporting Floyd Bonham for the next mayor of Shelby County. All right. Thank you so very, very much. Well, let's get back into the meat of things. $6,000 ain't no chump change. Thank y'all. I was amazed at $6,000. $6,000. The smile that was on her face. And y'all go back, those of you at home that have not seen it, y'all go back to the Facebook page and you'll see where we're giving the contributions that you, the people, gave. Share it on your pages. Somebody asked me, was the news going to pick it up? No, ain't no news going to pick it up. My name is Thaddeus Matthews. If Thaddeus stole $6,000, if I beat somebody out of $6,000, I'll have been the lead story on the news. But it ain't about that. I'm on TV 5 days a week. There is no other black man's name as large on TV in this area as Thaddeus Matthews. God gives me favor, and the reason that God bestows favor on me is because when I say I ain't gonna help nobody, God just purges me and make me do it. Now, but let me say this: don't y'all call me with your my mama dead things, my son dead things. Y'all need to go get y'all some insurance. I got an insurance company for your heritage. Go get you some insurance. I do not raise, and I'm going to tell you before you call me, I don't raise money anymore for people who are dead because I told you, go get you some insurance. My experience, I raised last year over $20,000 to bury about 2-3 people. I got to almost fighting in the cemetery with one family. People don't tell you, you're not appreciative. You don't give nothing for your own folks to be buried, but then damn, y'all want to jump all on me because I don't get take none of the money that has been raised for the funeral to buy you no weave and no dress. Hell, wear to your mama's funeral what you've been wearing around the house all the damn time. When you wouldn't go give her a cool drink of water, wear them same clothes. Don't call me about burying nobody. Okay, that's out. You're going to get your feelings deeply hurt. Okay, don't call me about getting nobody out of jail. If they wasn't out here robbing and doing wrong, they wouldn't be there. I ain't going to do that. But this particular instance, it had to be done. It was supposed to be done. God led me to do that, and it's done. So I don't want everybody calling me with your damn little problems tomorrow, telling me, I saw what you did for that other day. I don't want to hear it. I'm telling you before you call me, you're going to get your feelings hurt. I'm subject to cuss. I'm subject to cuss you. I really am. I'm subject to call you a name and talk about your heredity and all of them things. Don't call me for that. I do those things that God lead me to do. And God ain't leading me to bury your mama when you didn't have no insurance on your mama. Let the church say, amen, amen, amen. Because y'all, some of y'all just beggars. Okay? Some of y'all just beggars. Dale had to tell a lady yesterday, and said, God knows she didn't need to talk to me. And that's really how Dale talked to some people. We're doing the Christmas thing for children, and you got a foster child, and you want us to give your foster children some toys. The state gives you $2,000 per month per child. Now, if you got 3 children and the state, and you working and you got the children, and the state giving you $2,000 per child, that's $6,000. Damn it, you can buy you some toys with $6,000. Take your $500 and don't call me for that. Because we are not, see, I love to give. That's the reason I'm blessed. But God says to be a good steward with that which he has given. So hell, don't think I'm no damn fool. I ain't Captain Saberhole no more. I found the kryptonite. You Negroes gave me the kryptonite. I done took the cape off. I will help those people that I feel need to be helped. But don't call me begging. Amen. Yes. Y'all get $2,000 per month from the state per foster child. That's the reason y'all see some folk with 6 or 7 foster children. I work with foster children the first month. The foster parents are in the hole. That ain't my damn hole. You put your own damn ass in that hole. You got in the hole. You wanted the foster children, then fine, you do it. We ain't doing that. Some of you, one lady, I was asking somebody, you got a husband and you try to submit your name to somebody else, you knew not to call me. You got 5 grandchildren. Your husband is a truck driver. You got a job, and you want somebody to give to you. We got to learn to stop begging. But that's a whole nother show. All right? All right. Tonight, though, as we continue, there has been a woman by the name of Abigail Noel. She's a psychic. And I played a tape from her the other night. And she's all over YouTube. Abigail states that she knew nothing of Lorenzen Wright. Hadn't really heard of Lorenzen Wright. But after his murder, she says that her spirit, and I'm going to let her explain that, they met up. And Lorenzen showed her through his eyes who killed. 3 years ago, she was calling the name of Bill. She names all of the names. I'm going to call her, and she's going to be on my show tonight. Okay? I'm going to call her. We're going to go to commercial break, and I'm going to get Miss Noel on the line, and this should be a very interesting show. You're going to want to share this show on tonight. She's going to name all of the names. She says that Lorenzen gave her all the names, told her everything, and most of all, Lorenzen told her in the spirit who was behind it. And it's, as she said, he said, that bitch did it. Talking about Cherie. Let's take a commercial break, and then when we come back, I'm going to try to go on and get her on the line. She's in California, and sunny California. I'm going to try to get her on the line, and we're going to be talking to her live on the Thaddeus Matthews Show. We'll be right back. Let me see if I can find her number. Let's see where her number is. Well, here her number is. Okay, why not?
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Okay, let me make sure. You got this up. Can you hear me now, Abigail?
Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to get you to my system.
Okay.
Make sure it's plugged into it.
Hold on, let me make sure I got this. Abigail?
Yes.
Yes, I got you.
Yes. That sounds good.
Yeah, I got you now. Now, on my show, you ain't no limitations. You got full reign to do however you want to do it.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay. I'm in commercial break, and I'll bring you up as soon as we come out of commercial break.
Okay.
Is it sunny in California?
It's beautiful out here.
What's the temperature in California?
That's a good question. It's been around like 75.
Ooh.
And that gets in the 50s in the evening.
All right.
It's nice.
I want you to act like you're on your own show. Tell it just the way it is.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
How many commercials we got left back there for this set? Those of you that's watching on Facebook Live, can you hear? Thank you, Geraldine. How many commercials left? Excuse me, somebody in the control room. Dale. Huh? How many?
You want to do 2 more?
No, bring me back after this commercial right here. Huh?
She's okay.
50 seconds.
All right.
Oh.
Then that's better for you to hear then, T.L. Myers.
You gotta get in contact with Pastor. Pastor Baskin, to make sure he's coming in there. Still got time. 13 seconds.
Dale, check.
10 seconds.
Make sure the volume is right on the TV with the same, so I know what I need to adjust it.
4, 3, 2.
All right, welcome back to the Thaddeus Matthews Show. On the line from sunny 75-degree weather, California, is Abigail Noel. She's a psychic. Abigail, welcome to the Thaddeus Matthews Show.
Thank you, Mr. Matthews. I'm honored to be here. And hello, Memphis.
Explain your gift, because I've had some people say, was his ghost talking to you? Explain exactly what transpired as far as the spirit world and the association of the spirits with Lorenzen.
Well, first of all, I'm a therapist, first and foremost, in a ministry. I've been working as a ministry for, 10 years now, going on 10 years, and in private practice as a therapist. I have heard God speaking to me all of my life. It wasn't until I was about 17 years old that I realized that there were psychics. I saw a man named John Edwards had a television show, and I kind of got mad at God, because I was like, well, that's like talking to dead people's the easy part, because it was my understanding growing up. And I wasn't raised in the book or the box. My father was an atheist. He's a very science-minded man and a brilliant man, and he told me I had a very vivid imagination that there was no such thing as heaven. When I got a little older, I would ask him, then how come I always knew Jesus? So, I am psychic, but I am not a psychic. We are all psychic, because being psychic was divine guidance. It was originally intended so that we could all hear God, and not just pray to God, but to actually hear a response back, and then use our free will and free choice to make a decision. Now, since we live in the place we are, and we've got fear around that, and so many people do not know this truth, and so therefore, because they don't know it's true, they don't hear as well. It became necessary for people, like me, who've been awakened to this gift or known about it all their lives, to communicate at times. Now, I do want to say this as well. I work through my primary spirit guide, which is the one known as Jesus Christ. I call him Jay. I've known him my whole life. And so I don't talk to any spirits without his presence and without his explanation as to why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is why the Bible, the book itself, warns against fortune tellers and psychics. It's because we've been misusing this particular, I say gift, but our gifts are earned. You know, so it is a gift, but we all earn the gifts that we're given. So faith comes through trust. And trust is earned, right? So that's it. But the spirit of Lorenzen Wright came to me, pardon that background noise, his spirit came to me the day that his body was found back in 2010, and that would have been July 19th, July, I guess, 28th?
Yes.
So I guess was the day it was found. And his spirit came to me. I did not know anything about basketball. I also didn't watch the news. I had just heard about a local basketball player from Memphis who had played for the Grizzlies who had disappeared and gone missing. I heard about that through Facebook. And the story was on the news. And then, as I said, I've spoken to the spirit world, to heaven, my entire life. So I was very aware that his spirit was speaking to me. And it happened almost immediately when I became aware that his body had been found that day. And I don't know where you want me to go from there. But, you know, from there, what I do is I walk with that spirit. And he began explaining to me what happened to him, who shot him, why he was where he was.
So let me ask you this, and let me say this to those of you on Facebook Live. If you can't hear, cut up your damn box, okay? But I don't want to see all that, what you can't, and what I need to do and adjust anything on Facebook. You adjust your box, or just be quiet and listen, or come back and listen when it's all over. You will be blocked off the page. Now let me go back to you, Abigail. How did the spirit of Lorenzen come to you, and how did you know who Lorenzen was, and how did he start to sharing with you his tragic death?
Well, it's really, in a way, just like anything. To me, there's not a whole lot of difference between somebody who's in body and out of body. But with regard to that, the way that he could make himself known to me was because I happened to be walking through the living room of a friend's house when the broadcast was on. So it's very easy for the spirit, you know, even if you don't know who that person is, to give you clues and to be able to say, hey, I'm this guy. You know, so it's very easy for them to come through and say, hey, I'm the basketball player that was just shot and I need your help. And again, doing what's called fourth dimensional soul retrieval was not new to me at that time. It was still relatively new because this was a long time ago. But I've seen spirits my whole life. My earliest memories were at 2.5 years old. And I've also seen the one known as you know, Jesus Christ, who I call Jay, my entire life. And I also work with who I call Abba, Father God, and his energy's always been with me my entire life. I've lived in kind of a surrendered place. Now, does it mean I'm a perfect person? Oh, heck no. I'm a mess. You know, but God loves a dummy and fool, so I guess I volunteered. But with that said, I was asked, this was really before I was in private practice, but I don't know how else, you know, to explain it. I was just very clear on who it was. But past that, it's proven to me because I'm a show me kind of girl. So I had too many things that I was able. From there, I met with people who knew Lorenzen. So God works in very beautiful and powerful, mysterious ways. And so he started connecting me. And at this point, I know that the family knows me very well. Sabia knows me very well. And the reason that trust is there is because I was able to provide enough what's called psychic evidence or proof that I could never have known, which leads us to why we're on the phone tonight. And that's because back in 2014, I made it public because Spirit asked me to, God asked me to. But I had this information since about probably 2011. And when you are working psychically on a case, psychic investigative work, you work it I'm just working with the intangible pieces, the things that you can't see and putting it together. But just like police officers have to, and detectives have to build their case, so does somebody working psychically. We also have to come to an understanding, and you have to validate the pieces of information, the clues, if you will, as they come in. So back in 2011, I had such a clear picture of what happened to Lorenzen, down to names. Kenny Brown, I had a complete description of Kenny Brown. I was able to tell family members,
let me get you, because some of my audience are not familiar with Kenny Brown, and there is information out there that shows that Kenny Brown was the boyfriend of Cheryl.
Yes, and he's married, and I said that before that was ever made public. They were sleeping together for 9 months, but that was irregular with Cheryl. She was also having a relationship, a sexual relationship, if you will, or I would say agreement, with the man who's currently in jail right now, Mr. Billy Ray and Turner. And I didn't mean to get so excited, but back in 2011, and I made it public in 2014. It's all documented. I said they needed Big Bill, that both shooters were from Mississippi, and that the guns were in Mississippi. So now we have Billy Turner arrested. The gun was found in Mississippi. And I also tried to get the FBI. I told them that the second shooter would have a Cadillac Escalade, pearl color. He was paid $20,000 cash in a car for shooting Lorenzen right in the face. And so that happened. I don't know how to. Let me have you ask me a question because there's so much. But
all right, let's go back.
The FBI picked that car up from a man's property in Mississippi. His name is Greg Lewis. Now I can't say for sure. That Greg Lewis, I can be as sure as I was about Billy Ray, that they need to look into Greg Lewis, and I think they'll find that Greg Lewis knows Billy Ray. That pearl Escalade was found on his property. The FBI confiscated it, and I've tried to ask the FBI. I've called 3 times to try and get information about why they took that car, and if it had anything to do with Lorenzen Wright. They won't answer any questions.
Well, let's go back here. Let's start here, Abigail. Let's go back to the evening that Lorenzen came up missing. The story was told, and we found out that it's a lie, about the 3 men who came to the house, and then she talks about Lorenzen left the house. He had a box and an indefinite amount of money in his possession. She stated she overheard Lorenzen on the telephone saying he was going to flip something for $110,000. He left her home in a car with her person she could not identify. Can you take us from this particular spot all the way to the time that Lorenzen was murdered, and tell us who the persons was and who Lorenzen stated in the spirit world was his killers?
First person that he implicated in the way that the spirit world works is the one with who holds the most burden is named first, and that is Cheryl Wright. The first person I was shown as Lorenzen Wright was standing next to the one known as Jesus Christ. I don't mean one, but Jesus Christ, the one I call Jay. He showed me a wedding ring, and he told me it was the woman, his wife. He said his wife. He showed me his children. He said, and I'm using the words, I don't hold back. God doesn't have judgment for words. He has judgment for intentions in our hearts, and he doesn't speak a language. But Lorenzen said, that bitch did it. She set me up. He said it was all about the money. She always wanted more. It was never enough. Now I found out later he was owed back child support. What Shira did is she set him up. She's the one that set him up with all of these, the drug connection. Everybody knows it was made public that he was indicted. He was not found guilty, but he was indicted as there was some activity with some cars. Again, that's where this pearl Cadillac Escalade comes in, and Bobby Cole. But Shira is the connection. Shira is the connection with the drugs. She set him up and told him this would cover his back child support. They'd be done, and she would get off his back if he would just do this one thing.
So are you saying that Cheryl wanted Lorenzen to do something with some drugs?
Yes, and that was for her. She told him she'd let him off the hook. She set the whole thing up, but she did not hear him on the telephone. She's the one who literally pushed him into a corner. She was pissed. She had always been pissed. She was very jealous. She was still angry at Lorenzen's indiscrepancies in their marriage. She blamed him for the Bell's palsy, the paralysis in her face. She was pissed about this a woman that he was seeing in Atlanta. All of this has been validated by Lorenzen's friends and family over the years. I hope I get it all right. You know, people have different ways of looking at things. He also had a new girlfriend that he was seeing here in Memphis, and that had Shara mad. Mm-hmm. Really mad, very jealous, and then here he is. Lorenzen was turning his life around. The only reason that he was in the position that he was in, and let us not cast any damn stones, you guys, please. The only reason he was in that position is because he had such a huge heart. He helped everybody, his family, his friends, everybody. Anyone needed help, he gave them what they needed, and he gave and he gave and he gave and he gave. And what Sarah was asking for was absolutely endless. It's in the paper. She went through $900,000 in like 9 or 10 months. None of it was spent on his children. It was spent on her. And that's all documented. And all we got to do is follow the money. The police even suspected her. And we all know that as well. She was ponied up with 5 attorneys. But with that said, what happened that night, Shara didn't hear him on the phone. Shara set Lorenzen up. She told him it was not a big deal. Now, Kenny Brown was with him that night. Kenny Brown is connected to Dennis McNeil, who is still a police officer with the Memphis City Police Department. I believe he still sits at a damn desk. And he's married to Bobby Cole's wife, for crying, sister, for crying out loud. Sister.
Now share with us who Bobby Cole is.
Bobby Cole is the biggest drug retailer in Memphis. I'm really glad I'm in California right now. He was incarcerated at the time, but Lorenzen had just been indicted and some funny little charges. And again, I'm told by Spirit, this is stuff that Shara was pushing him into because she was pressuring him about this money all the time. I'm not making excuses for anyone. I just think the truth needs to be told. And Shara's version is not the truth. With that said, and here's the other funny thing that I really want to bring up, and then I'll go to when they left the house at not 10:30, but more like 10:45 in the evening, and who he left with, which was Kenny Brown. And the fact that Shara says she doesn't know who he left with, that's just so much BS. Like, think about it. You've been married to this man. You have 6 children with him. You've known him since he was 14, 15 years old. You told the police that he had a box of drugs and cash that he was going to flip for $110,000, but you don't know who he got in the car with. Shara had her head so far up Lorenzen's butt, she knows exactly who he left with that night, and she's a liar. Let's also, I'll go to that later, but she was burning something in her backyard at 3 o'clock in the morning. It was Kenny Brown's bloody clothes. That's what it was. And when people are watching, listening to this, please, you just ask God, don't take it from me, don't take anything from me. I don't care if Deepak and Oprah said it at the same time, it doesn't make it true. You ask God for the truth as I'm speaking. With that said, Bobby Cole is the biggest drug retailer in Memphis. He's connected to Craig Pettit out of Atlanta. And because Lorenzen had this little mark, this little shadow, of doubt, and it kind of, messed with his shining reputation, Lorenzen, his love, this was a perfect time for Shara to do this so that it would be drugs that were implicated. And exactly what happened, happened. With that said, in fact, it was like the NBA and the Grizzlies. Everybody was afraid to even, say anything or stand up for him because now they have, they tarnished his reputation, and that's not right. That needs to be changed. It needs to be turned around. But with that said, at 10:44 that night, what happened was Okay, I'll go into all the details. Spirit gives me a lot of details for some reason, but Lorenzen and Shara were still kind of having relations at that point, which really tells you something. But he'd been at the house that night, and that's all validated. Now, for the audience and for you, Mr. Matthews, to also explain, and I have this validated, I brought all of this through and made it public even before the police reports came out. I'd spoken to the family and to Lorenzen's girlfriend at the time and even validated the exact numbers that Shara said, 110. And I'll tell you that's where she got 90 and she paid the shooters 20 and gave them a car and some drugs. And shows on that. But with that said, let's see, going back to that, this particular night, they left at 10:44. Shara knew exactly where he was going. He left with Kenny Brown. They went to go meet. They were going to meet two other guys, and my understanding is I believe that one of the guys that they met. I'll go back to the details. But there's a Bobby Cole involvement here, but Bobby Cole didn't have it done. Shara had it done. But one of the shooters, the primary shooter, who is not Bill Turner, who's currently in jail, the primary shooter, who I believe's name is Greg Lewis. Greg Lewis is at the very least connected. If he wasn't there that night, he's part of who set it up. But with that said, hang on, I kind of lost where I was at that night, or where we were at.
We were talking about when he left the house with Kenny.
Right, I was just saying, but the Bobby Cole connection, I want to make sure it was clear that I'm not saying that Bobby Cole had this done, but I believe that somebody connected with Bobby Cole as the primary shooter. So now we left the house. He left the house at about 10:44, and he's going to do this because Shara asked. What Lorenzen's spirit said to me was that it wasn't anything he wanted to be doing. He didn't want to get caught up in any of that. He was going back to be a manager, I believe, of a team. He had taken a job. He was really looking forward to his future. But he was doing this one thing because Shara was putting so much pressure on him, and he owed so much money that the financial pressure was weighing on him really bad. He told me that he wasn't sleeping well, and just wasn't really enjoying life because of it in general. He wanted to get Shara off his back, and he thought it was safe enough. He just figured it was not that big a deal. With that said, he left the house with Kenny Brown. I'm told that they went and got something to eat, a hamburger to be specific is what I was told. I was shown what the area looked like. I'd never been over that Hacks Cross area or that Robbers, whatever it's called, Robbers something. But I went out there afterwards. But beforehand, I'd seen exactly what it looks like. One of the more prominent things was he kept showing me an airplane flying over my head. And the first time I ever went out to the location years ago with his sister Sabia, the planes fly right over that area, so it's right in the flight path. So with that said, they went out in that area to meet these other two men, which were set up by Shara. And it was not exactly what she said it was. Obviously, they were there to shoot him. This was all about his insurance money, his NBA stuff. It was all about getting a piece of the big money, not the little bit that he owed her for child support. It was about getting him for all of it and getting him back for all of the indiscretion and for all the things that he'd done to her, in her mind. That's the way she felt. And so they left, they walked down this, they parked, and they walked into the path. When you first pull up, and this was years ago, so there's less development. Now it's very developed. Back then it was almost all fields with apartments way off in the distance to the right. And they walked down the path to meet these other two people. And this is where I'm shown the pearl-colored Cadillac Escalade. They drove it that day, and this is when I saw the two men, the one being Big Bill, and the other, I believe his name is Greg Lewis. and he's also from the Oxford, Mississippi area. He lives very close to Bobby Cole's wife. God doesn't, there's no such thing as synchronicity. Not coincidence, there's only synchronicity, and that's God speaking. So Lorenzen walks down this path. He's walking with his friend, some supposed friend, Kenny Brown. Kenny Brown knows what's going to happen. Let me jump back and say this. When Lorenzen got in the car at Shara's house, Kenny Brown asked him why he was wearing dark jogging pants and a shirt. Lorenzen was wearing khaki shorts and a white t-shirt. All of that's been validated. I knew all this ahead of time. Now, not Kenny Brown's clothes, because nobody knows that, but if I had Lorenzen's outfit right for the evening, then I think I had Kenny as well. Kenny brought a change of clothes. They were in a bag in his trunk. That's the same bag he put the bloody clothes in, took him to Shara's house afterwards, and burned in a fire pit. The police asked Shara why she was burning in her backyard at 3 o'clock in the morning. She said she was burning garbage. I think we all know that's garbage. With that said, and people saw her, the neighbors saw her in moving the van and driving around in the early morning that night as well. So that's really all been established. So Lorenzen walks down this path with his supposed friend Kenny Brown, the last person to see him that night. That's why Shara wouldn't say who he was with, but that's exactly who he was with. Kenny Brown walks him down to these other two gentlemen. Again, I believe that's Bill Turner, I guess his name is. It's in jail now. Mm-hmm. And then I believe Greg Lewis, who also lives here. And they shoot him. I'd always said that the one shooter didn't really want to be there, and that's the one that's Bill. That's the one that's in custody. It's almost like he got in so far he couldn't really get out. He was afraid if he tried to get out, they'd shoot him. Okay. Because at a certain point you know too much, you have to go along. But he didn't want to be there. They said he even got sick. That he threw up at a little bit at the scene. The main shooter, I believe, is this man Greg Lewis. Now, the only reason that I believe that I have this name so accurate is because I saw clearly this Pearl Escalade, and I was told that was part of the payment for shooting Lorenzen. I was told, and I told Larry Godwin this, and a TBI agent. I said, please go find this car. And I gave him an area, location, a description of the person. With that said, I was shown when I saw Lorenzen being shot at the same time, first time I've ever run in this through, I was shown this pearl-colored Cadillac Escalade. I was told it would be found on a property in Mississippi, that it would be parked to the side and towards the back of the house so that it would be barely visible from the street, that it would have bad registration, and that when that car was found, that would be the shooter, one of the shooters for Lorenzen, Wright. So this is a true story. A friend of mine, her name is Kathy. I forgot to ask her if I could put her full name on here, but I'm happy to give you the information, Thaddeus, when we're done. But her name is Kathy. She's very well known in the area. She has cadaver dogs. She trains them. She does search and rescue. She looks for missing people. She was out on a case looking for a little girl, 2.5 years old. Her name is Myra Lewis. And Kathy will regularly call me and ask me, are we in the right place? Is the person alive? Are they dead? Are we looking for the body in the right place? Just to spare her as much trouble and keep the dogs as safe as possible, etc. And so she had called me about Myra Lewis and this little girl, and we were reading that, and I told her, she's gone. Unfortunately, she's gone. Well, Kathy calls me back about 3 hours later from the property where they've been doing the search. While she's out on this property, which is Greg Lewis's property, it's his little girl, Myra Lewis, who's gone missing and is still missing today. There's a Pearl Cadillac Escalade, and the feds are there. Kathy calls me up, and I just happened to tell her. I don't know why, it's the way God works. I told Kathy months before, if you ever, I said, and we were talking about Lorenzen's case, and I said, there's going to be a Pearl Cadillac Escalade retrieved from a house in Mississippi. That's the shooter. And so in this process, I find out that Greg Lewis has a record. I find out that Greg Lewis, I believe, went to the same high school that Lorenzen went to. He also played football He's got drug connections, and I had said in the original read that one of the shooters works with cars, with automobiles, and Greg Lewis, at least he did. He doesn't still. I haven't looked into these things in a recent time. This was, 5, 6, 7 years ago. So with that said, this car, when Kathy calls me and tells me, Abigail, you're not going to believe this, but we're out here on this Lewis property, and the feds are here. She said, the FBI's here. She said, that's crazy. The FBI would not be called out on a local missing persons. She goes, this is a new case. This is weird, Abigail, and you'll never guess what. She said, they are literally pearl-colored Cadillac Escalade, just like you told me would be part of the Lorenzen Wright case. So how do we have all of those coincidences with this man, Greg Lewis? And there's the car. So I have to believe it and stand on my rock. And the police certainly, I would think, they need to look into this man.
Abigail, take us now to. Pardon me?
Take
us now to the point that Lorenzen was killed. Take us there on Calais. Take us there and tell us about the death and how he was murdered, the 911 call, the cell phone that he had. Tell us all about that.
Lorenzen was walking down the path with his friend. He comes up to the two people. It happened very fast. He didn't have a lot of time to realize how much trouble he was in. That basically, he had two guns in his face. The one who I believe is not Bill Turner, the other one, Greg Lewis, had the gun in his face. He's who I would call the primary shooter, and this was very much a jealous act. There was a lot of jealousy. I hear the words clearly. I hear the words that he said to Lorenzen clearly. He said, what are you going to do now, basketball star, pretty boy? I'm going to shoot your face. He literally told him, your mother's never going to see your face. Pretty boy, basketball star, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do now, bitch? That's the way he was talking to Lorenzen. The other shooter's not saying much at all. And in fact, I had said there were more bullets from one gun. They do know, and I said this before the reports were released, and I have, the witnesses to it. I had said there were two shooters and two guns, but one of the shooters is the one who really was the primary shooter. The other one didn't want to shoot him, so the bullets did not hit Lorenzen's body as much from the second shooter. There were more, but he was shot about, over 7 times, 9 times, mostly in the face, 5 times in the face. The first, he had his cell phone in his right hand. He was, in the moments before this is happening, and he started, as he's realizing, like, I've got a gun in my face, these guys want to kill me. He knew the apartments. He knew somebody in these apartments to the right. He wanted to run. He knew he was fast. He thought maybe he could miss the bullets enough to keep going and get away. But it happened too fast. So his next thought was to call 911. He even told me about it, and it's all been validated. He even told me about the phone, the throwaway disposable phone. They went back and got that. They dropped it at one point, but they made sure they took that from the scene.
So, wait a minute. Let me ask you this, Abigail. When you say, yes, you're saying that Lorenzen made the 911 call and that the killers took his phone from the scene? Yes,
I don't know if they took 2 phones from the scene or 1 phone, but they took the phone that connected the numbers. He had a temporary phone, a phone he was using just for this purpose. Mm-hmm. And I believe, in fact, that phone, this is hot off the head of the press, they'll find that phone in the lake with the gun. So that chills on that. That's where that phone went. I had said some years ago that they took this phone and they threw it in some water, body of water somewhere.
Let me get you to hold that particular point. I got to take a commercial break, and we'll start back on that particular point of you're saying that the cell phone was thrown into the wall as well.
Yes.
Let me take a commercial break, and we'll be right back. Get a chance to catch your breath and get you some water.
Thank you.
Do you have some?
Hmm?
I was trying to make sure you had some water.
Mm-hmm. For those of you on Facebook Live, isn't this amazing? You need to be sharing this on all of your Facebook pages. Those of you who are watching us Facebook Live, and those of you who missed something, come back when the show is over and go back through the whole show. And again, I want to thank all of you on the page and all the viewers that we were able to raise $6,000 from last night until about 2 o'clock today. And that money is presently in the hands of Miss Marion. So thank you again so very much. Do you ever get to Memphis, Abigail?
Oh, yeah. I'll be back out there, I believe, in February.
When you come back in February, you got to come live on the show.
Oh, man, I would love to. Thank you. Thank you. I just want to see this solved. Any energy we can push towards, especially making sure everybody involved. So often you only get part of the story, and it's much harder for people to heal.
Yeah. We'll be back in probably about 2-3 minutes.
Okay, awesome. I'm gonna mute, and I'll be listening.
Okay.
Okay.
If I've given her the $6,000 a day, don't you think I've spoken with her? All right, go. We're in a commercial break. We got just a few more. Martecchio Hayes, if I see you saying something as stupid as that again, your ass gonna be blocked off my page. We ain't talking about no damn Powerball. Now put some of that's stupid up there again, and your ass gone.
Somebody want Powerball numbers?
If you're gonna give it from me.
Do I know?
Someone's got their pen. They're actually giving Powerball numbers.
Is he on the page?
I don't know if he's on the page or not. Just
Tell him we all right. This Cameron Williams, it's hard to ask, but I need your help. Tell him we through helping. We done did our share of helping this week. Okay, go to the Salvation Army. Go to the little people with the bell.
This Salvation Army.
Yeah, tell them go down. I'm through. I ain't ready. Folk already coming on the page. Hell no. In fact, block him from the page. No. What we got left, Leather?
Three more.
What are
Then
they?
you'll have 7 left. So you want to take another break at 8:30?
Uh,
8:35?
yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay, the last one will be Scott's
Okay.
All right.
Hey, Neek. What did the grown man begging for?
Huh?
You done blocked him and took it off my page. Damn.
But I told you that, didn't I?
Mm-hmm. That's all right. We're going to tell you what we're going to do. Live screenshot all the folks that's begging, all the inboxes of the beggars, and I'm going to put them I'm going to put them up on the page.
Your page will be up tomorrow too.
Huh?
Your page will be up tomorrow too.
My page will be up, I think it's tomorrow evening, Saturday.
Yes, they come on.
Now, I don't know nothing about doing that. You know anything about that live video stuff? I don't know nothing about that live video stuff, so I'm inviting her on the page. This fine enough. I'm fine. Y'all don't need to see it. Just listen to it.
I've never done that.
I ain't gonna try. Being messed up my whole thing trying to do something because they want something.
Oh, are they talking about that split screen? I don't know how to do that either.
I don't know how to do it either, so we ain't even gonna try that.
I do it the old school way.
Yes. Tara Stewart, I do it the way I want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't come to me begging. We helped Miss Marion because it was the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But when y'all come begging to me, from now on, I'm gonna screenshot you and put you on blast so the world can see how much of a beggar you are.
You could remind her she's been in hell the last 7 years too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right, Nick. Beg for a job. Was the wrestling the last one? Or what did she say was the last one?
I thought she said Scott.
Tell her bring me back out the wrestling. I ain't really worried about Scott's. What she said?
Okay.
She gonna bring me back out to the wrestling?
She quit. 10 seconds.
All right. We're getting ready to go back, Abigail. Just a second.
Okay.
That's right. Get ready for Naked Truth Wrestling. That's coming up on Friday night, January the 12th, at the Naked Truth Liberation and Empowerment Ministry. Hey, I invite y'all to be there this Sunday morning also at 10 a.m. Let's get back. My guest is Abigail Noel out of California, and she is a psychic, and she has the real deal on what happened as far as Lorenzen Wright is concerned. She says that in the spirit world that they have met, and that Lorenzen said that bitch had everything to do with it. Yeah, that old funky bitch. Y'all know that funky bitch. Cheryl had everything to do with it. We were talking before the break about the shooting. He was shot multiple times, and I'm looking here at the autopsy report right now. We're looking at a man, when they found his mostly decomposed and nearly skeletonized remains, was only 57 pounds. His body laid out, I think, for a period of 10 days. And I think that summer, it was 98 and 100 degrees almost every day. The animals ate on him and things of this nature. So we want justice for Miss Miriam. And we want all the parties involved incarcerated. Now, Abigail, you told us about being shot, but let's go back there. Something else I listened to you on one of your shows state that this was set up the day before.
Yes.
Take me back to the day before, and that area at that time there was a fence there, barbed wire fence. Tell us the preparations for that, and then let's come back to the phone.
Perfect. They went out. They did the day before, is my understanding, and cut the wire so that they could. And that's how they drug Lorenzen's body out into the field. There was at the time, it's all changed now, but there's a barbed wire. There was a barbed wire fence across there that had been cut, and that I believe was also validated in the reports. And the two men that shot him are the two men that drug him out into the field. Again, my understanding from Spirit, and going back, and I mean this confidently, but humbly. I've just been listening to God and doing this work for a very long time, and it's just like playing guitar. Hearing God, being psychic is like playing an instrument. The more you practice, the better you get, and it's all about trust. And the thing is that, I said that Big Bill shot him. That Big Bill would be that the shooters would be from Mississippi, and that they would find a gun in Mississippi. All of those things have happened now. So what that does is then it starts literally by zero probability. It means that there's an 88% chance that the rest of what I said is accurate too, or more, or more. And so, I've got to start believing that, math and science belong to God. And they work in His ways. With that said, going back to, I guess, where he was shot, is that where we want to go?
Yeah, we want
to back to the phone.
Right, we want to go back to. We've talked about him being shot multiple times. Let me ask you this: in your dealing with Lorenzen in the spirit world, what was the reason that they went to this spot? Now, I know that Lorenzen had a house in South Wind. Lorenzen had an apartment also, okay? And it's been reported that this was a spot that sometimes if they wanted to smoke a little bud, that Shara and him would go to so that they would not smoke in the presence of the children. So on this particular Sunday night, after 10 o'clock, almost 11 o'clock at night, what was the reason that they went to this isolated spot?
Well, there's more of a reason. He went to that spot to make an exchange that was set up by Shara. She had done this, and as I said, the involvement that he had. This is my understanding, and I got to say here because I don't want to speak for people because sometimes you misunderstand and this and that. But the family, let me just say this. I don't speak for the family. I can't say they 100% agree with every little detail that I get. I've got to do my best to stand on my rock, and every little detail I have may not be completely accurate, or maybe I don't completely understand it, but I have to do my best to stay with what I hear is true. And when I say that though, but I love the family, they get it. I just talked to Savia the other day, and they know that I want to do my best to bring Lorenzen's reputation back and bring out the truth and so forth. But with that said, Shara is the one, it's my understanding that his involvement with the drugs and with Bobby Cole was Shara's setup. It's all of this, even knowing these people on the fringe was Shara's setup. Now, also, let's one more place to go. Dennis McNeil, who is currently, I believe he's still with the Memphis City Police Department. Okay, he and Tim Green. Tim Green was a Memphis City Police Department. Then we'll go back to the phone and the shooting that night and why this was. But let's not forget, they were the first two responders. They showed up on the scene, and Tim Green had already been indicted. Okay, and when the first thing that I was told, the second thing after I was told that Shara was responsible, the one who takes the most burden, that she set this up and have the shooters paid. And, okay, that's the first thing. Second thing I was told is that
let me ask you something right here. What was his name? The Green?
Tim Green. He was. I think he's still incarcerated. Maybe not. I don't know how long he was in, but he was indicted at the time. Go ahead.
Would a William Green be a relative of his? There's a William Green that made a post on Facebook. Have you seen it? He made.
I'm getting chills on that. Still getting chills on that.
William Green, and we'll have to check and find out what the relationship. William Green on March 9th, 2014, made a post on Facebook that said, Mr. Parker and girl boy Coleman, rogue agent, sleeper cells, American terrorists, I have went so far into your informant that he has in parentheses, La Travis Austin's life until I can tell you when and where he was conceived. Listen, now here's what he says. Listen, Terrence Parham, Vernon Taylor, Sylvester Mallon Jr., Antoine Walker, Lorenzen Wright, Lieutenant Timothy Green, Wally Craig Pettis, Officer Young, Officer Crawford. Should I keep naming them? I have your informant list. I'm done. Operation Turner's Blue. Are you familiar with that particular Facebook posting?
I think it was sent to me, and I looked over the names really quick, but I haven't, I don't know anything past that. And just that it's very interesting to me, and that's what I do, because I do my best to I write on the spirit side a little more, so I only look at that stuff a little bit, and then I wait for God to talk to me about it or bring it up again. So it's interesting it's coming up again here. Makes sense. But I mean, absolutely, when I saw the names that were on there, I did notice he misspelled Lorenzen's name, but I knew who he meant.
Right, he has Lorenzo.
Right. Lorenzo. People do that a lot, so that told me that whoever this guy is doesn't know Lorenzen so well. But the other names being on there, Craig Pettis and other stuff, there's, these are the words that are easily flowing out. There's definitely some connection, and he knows something for sure. I mean, it's what it would appear to be, because I don't know. There's no, as I said, no coincidence. There's only synchronicity, and that's three of the names right there all together and talking. And as I said, Lieutenant Green. Going back to this, what's interesting is Lieutenant Green and Dennis McNeil were both under Lorenzen's employ.
Right.
Lorenzen paid both of them, right? And also Tim Green was moonlighting. He was working as a security guy at the Martini Lounge. It's my understanding the owner of the Martini Lounge was jailed or did some jail time, and the business is no more. What I'm going to tell you, and this is from Spirit, is that Bobby Cole was running drugs through there. Tim Green was an inside informant. Tim Green, this is what Spirit says. And again, guys, do not associate the family with any of this. I don't even talk to them about this. Just want to make sure that that's clear.
Well, let me bring this point into this. And I'm reading from documentation. Officer McNeil also did traveling security for the Memphis Grizzlies. Okay?
Yes.
Wright helped McNeil obtain the position after introducing him to one of the former managers. Now, McNeil, as you said, is also the brother-in-law of convicted drug dealer Bobby Cole.
Bobby Cole.
Right.
What's he doing on the Memphis City Police? please, for us.
Yes. Well, let me get a little bit more on this. In October 2012, Cole was sentenced to 8 years for using trailers to traffic millions of dollars worth of cocaine into Memphis and millions of dollars in profit back to Mexico. He was a member of the notorious multi-million-dollar drug empire ran by a Memphis breed drug kingpin, Craig Pettis. Now, it goes on to say that court documents, and I'm reading from an old Commercial Appeal article, court documents disclosed that Wright had a relationship with Cole. In 2008, Wright sold his 2008 Mercedes-Benz S63 and 2007 Cadillac Escalade SUV to Cole. Okay. A year after Cole had been indicted on drug distribution charges. During the Drug Enforcement Administration's investigation, they discovered that Cole purchased the vehicles from Wright with drug money and seized them. When questioned by police, Wright reportedly admitted to selling the cars to Cole, but having no knowledge of whether or not they had been used for illegal activity. Now, here's what Ms. Marion says. She says she thinks that Cole possibly feared her son was going to disclose information that he knew about the Pettis organization to the police. She thinks this potentially led to his murder. What do you think?
I believe that it made it very easy for Shara to get it done. She used the circumstances, the relationship with Cole. I believe that Bobby Cole knew of and assisted, made it easy for Shara to get it done. That's why it's my understanding from Spirit that Greg Lewis, the second shooter, and I believe his name is Greg Lewis, no reason for me to doubt it when they found a pearl-colored Escalade on his property. He's got, connections, a record. He works with cars, and again, the other name, Big Bill, he's been arrested. So I believe Greg Lewis. I believe what that did is it made it easy. It's almost like Bobby Cole referred Shara to Greg. I just got chills on that. So I believe there's a connection, and I think, and I just to make this public, I have shared all of this information with the Memphis City Police, not a detective, I don't know what his title, but I think a sergeant, and he has passed all of it on to the people working the case. I have not received a phone call from them. I wanted to make a point too, to make sure I'm clear on this. And hey, I may be wrong, but I got to stand on my rock somewhere. And I'm confident enough that I'm going to speak it. In fact, Matt, I know it's right. The second person that Lorenzen said was dirty after Shara was Dennis McNeil. And I got a deep feeling of betrayal from this man. Lorenzen didn't want him anywhere around his family, and he goes around him all the time. He plays the part. He's still a cop, and let's not forget he's married to Bobby Cole's sister. Dennis McNeil knows all about this and has way more to do with it. He needs to be held responsible. I also want to say that Spirit has told me that Dennis McNeil and Tim Green went in they went in together. They were friends. They went into the academy to become cops at the same time. They both worked with drug enforcement, and they went in dirty. Tim Green's already been indicted. He was indicted before Lorenzen died, before Lorenzen was shot. But here's our question in all of Memphis, every citizen in Memphis, all over the world, we need to be asking those two people why they were the first people on the scene when Lorenzen's body was found. Tim Green had already been indicted. He needed to be with his attorney somewhere figuring out his future. And Tim and Mr. McNeil, it was none of his business. That wasn't his. He had a desk job at the time. Why wasn't he behind his desk diligently working for the city and for the people? Why were those two men who were so connected to him both on the scene when Lorenzen's body found? I'll tell you why, because God told me they both knew ahead of time. And they were checking it out for Bobby Cole. Bobby Cole didn't want to go down for it. So he was having them watch everything because both of them worked for Bobby Cole. Dennis McNeil still works for Bobby Cole. And they both know what happened to Lorenzen. Shara, Bobby made it easy. Bobby Cole made it easy for Shara to get it done. But Shara is responsible. She's the one that made sure that it happened. And she's the one that got the money.
So why do you think that it has taken 7 years? And who do you think?
Because there's dirty cops involved. And I met with Larry Godwin. And I don't know what to say about, I'm trying to be objective, because he did get me a meeting with a TBI agent. He flew all the way from Nashville, because Larry Godwin was, for anyone who doesn't know, the chief police at the time. Lorenzen was murdered. He has since gone on, I don't know if he still holds the position, I think so. He was the director, now he's the head of Homeland Security for the entire state of Tennessee. I found him to be a nice enough man. What I appreciated was that he listened to me, and what he did is he listened to me over the phone. He went and checked the file, and he saw enough that he knew I had to know something, because there were things I knew that weren't ever made public, etc. He flew from Nashville all the way to Jackson. I drove from Memphis to Jackson, Tennessee, and we talked for 3.5 hours. And he took notes and he took it back. And I appreciated that he listened, that he took all that time. So I would want to say thank you for that. But I want to know, I can't get past the feeling that he knew more. He knew more. I almost feel like instead everyone's just been watching to see if this was going to unroll, if this crazy psychic was actually going to get me attention, or if it was just going to go away. But I mean, these are dirty damn cops. He knew that Tim Green and Dennis McNeil were friends. He knows that Dennis McNeil's married to Bobby Cole. It was a horrible investigation. They didn't do their jobs. That's why it's not solved 7 years later. They didn't want it solved.
Let me ask you this. Who is it that you think tipped the police off to the gun being in the river, the lake, the creek, whatever it is, in Mississippi?
Well, this is funny because Lorenzen's sister said something to me a long time ago, and we spoke the other day, and she said,
who's sister?
Lorenzen's sister.
Okay.
And Lorenzen's sister, and I don't want to draw too much attention. Because she does not like to be bothered, and that's what I'd say too. Is like, so please, anybody listening, just don't bother the girl. She'll talk to you if she wants to talk to you. As I'd asked her, I'd had a news station contact me and so forth, and I didn't want to speak on there unless I talked to her and have her go on or whatever. And she's like, nah, I want to be left alone. The family's been through hell, and they just want answers, not to be picked at anymore. But with that said, I love it because she told me some time ago I wanted this solved so bad, and she just knew, and again, we're all psychic, and guys, you get more psychic than science. Science supports what I'm about to say. When you go through trauma in your life and hard times, it's the way it's designed. You come closer to God. The only thing blocking people from knowing that, is our beliefs. But with that said, she really feels spirit and felt her brother during this time, and that's what I was able to do for her as an intuitive therapist, was to hold that space for her at times when she was just couldn't go on. Her brother had just been murdered, and all this was going on, and God, it was really stressful, a very stressful time in Memphis, especially for people involved. And so with that said, she said to me, because I would tell her all the time, I said, I know he's going to get justice, you guys. I just know God's going to do that for you. And we go year after year after year. And one time she looked at me and she said, I know it's going to happen. She said, and it's going to be somebody who gets busted. And they're going to turn evidence. Somebody who's got to do it. Someone who made a deal. And I think we're going to find out that's what happened. Somebody made a deal.
Do you think it's somebody that's involved in this? Or do you think it's somebody that knew of the involvement and knew the individuals that were involved?
Someone who knew. From the outside looking in, I'm hearing.
shared this information with?
So I think it's somebody who just knew intimately is what I'm feeling. Someone who knew intimately from someone who was there. So they either know, maybe they know Greg Lewis, they heard exactly what happened, whatever it is, but it's somebody who knows intimately is all I'm really sensing on that. And that has known this for a while and used the information in some way. My understanding to bring up Big Bill, Mr. Turner, again, he seems to be what I would call the hesitant shooter, the one who really didn't want to see it done so much. He was really manipulated sexually by Shara. Shara prides herself on her sexual prowess and manipulating him with sex. That's how she grabbed Ren when he, in the first place.
Well, the statement was that, yes, we do know that they had a relationship. Yes, we do know that she was even saying out there at the church that she was going to marry him. Then I look on, I've got some copies of Facebook stuff. Every year on his birthday, which is, I guess, February 23rd, she's on his Facebook page wishing him a happy birthday. So there's a special relationship between the two.
That I didn't know, but very interesting. Very interesting. And again, I just a lot of sexual manipulation. And, here's the thing too, is like, so many people want to be loved, kind of thing. So it's easy to manipulate that. And then jealousy is a big factor in this as well. Bringing up this point, the person who, and that's what I do best as a therapist. I work with a lot of heavy trauma. So the more you can feel for somebody, you feel the emotion. And so spirit, God doesn't really speak language. God likes to speak to us through emotion the most. And so when I am working a case, the emotion is almost more proof for me than the little details that are validated. And there was a big piece of jealousy here from this one shooter, which again was not, I don't believe at all, I don't feel this from Billy Turner. It was the other shooter, who I believe his name is Greg Lewis, also from Mississippi, and I believe they'll find connected to Bobby Cole. With that said, Greg Lewis, and here's the funny part, so here's this jealousy. What you gonna do, basketball star, pretty boy? What you gonna do now, bitch? What you gonna do? And so here's this piece, it's like, how do you get there? Well, Greg Lewis, I believe they went to the same, he was from Oxford, Mississippi, so if they didn't, I think they went to high school around the same time, I'm not sure they're the same age, but even if you're coming up behind Lorenzen Wright, can you imagine? You know what I mean? So you're not as good looking a guy. Maybe he's not as smart. He's not as good at sports. He didn't become the basketball star. So that's where that jealousy comes in. So I find it funny that this shooter that I'm led to, that has the gold Cadillac, the person I believe is a shooter on his property, is also from Mississippi, lives in the same area that Lorenzen grew up in, and went to the same high school in Lorenzen. So I just wanted to bring that up as very interesting psychology and connecting dots on the case. And I sure wish that the police, the detectives in this case, would follow up on that. I do know this because Greg Lewis, his daughter Myra Lewis, 2.5 years old, went missing. Because of that, he had the police all over his house and looking into things. They started investigating him because they suspect that he had something to do with his daughter's disappearance, and they're right. And so I have had a little inside bird on that because my very good friend, soul sister Kathy, who gives of her time, she does this for free. She does this for free. This woman is so walks with God. She's so close to her, will not accept payment to go look for missing people. It's what she does. It's her calling. And so she goes out is called by law enforcement. She's very well respected, and she's out on Greg Lewis's property looking for this missing girl who's never been found. They'll find her in the Pearl River. They put her in a black bag with some rocks. And
They put who? Wait a minute. Let me go back. They put who in the bag?
Myra Lewis. Great Lewis's 2.5-year-old daughter. This is the person where the pearl-colored Cadillac Escalade was found on his property. And I had told Kathy she was out there searching for this little girl. And so in that process, the police were investigating his background. And I was able to find out that these things about this man, that he went to the same high school as Lorenzen, that he has no drug charges already. He lives, and then this is interesting, that the second home, and I don't know if this is still true today, but it was, 6 years ago, 5 years ago. He lives not too far, just a few miles away from Bobby Cole's wife. Bobby Cole's wife. She had a second home in Mississippi, Oxford, in Lorenzen. And so he lives down the street. I mean, what are the odds? Not down the street, but a few miles away as well. But do you see what I'm saying? So the police are already investigating this guy, Greg Lewis. Mm-hmm. So it'd be very easy for the detectives to connect. And the FBI, the feds, confiscated the car from his property. Why? So those are some things I would love to see the Memphis City Police Department follow up on, as well as I think the public, because it's the public. See, the Memphis City Police Department, they work for the people. And I think the people need to ask Dennis McNeil what the hell he was doing there and why he was with Tim Green. And I think the people need to ask the Memphis City Police Department what kind of vetting they do for their officers, that they hire drug enforcement officers to go work with drugs when he's married to a known drug retailer. And just for the record, because I don't want to present myself as anything I'm not. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's anything wrong with some pot. And I'm not going to judge anybody for doing some coke every once in a while. I know a lot of people that do those things. So I'm not trying to get into all that. I'm just saying there's some things that are wrong in this picture. There's some things being lied about. That needs to be straightened out without judgment. We just need to get to the truth.
Nicole, I've got to wind the show down, and I appreciate your information and your sharing with my audience, and I'm going to be keeping up with your YouTube messages. And when you get to Memphis, you got to come and be on the show.
Oh, I'd be honored, Thaddeus. Thank you. I really admire you, and thank you. I mean, from my heart, not that you need it from me, but thank you for helping Deborah out and the family, and thank you for illuminating the truth in this story so that we can get full justice, not partial justice, not some fall guy. We want the whole truth and complete justice for Lorenzen Wright and for his family.
Well, thank you. If you've got my number, if you need to contact me, please do. We're going to stay on this story here on the show. Thank you so very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
And when you get to Memphis in February, you've got to come and be live on the show. I'll be in touch with you. Thank you so much, Jim.
You have a Merry Christmas. Thank you.
And you too.
All right, bye-bye, Memphis.
Ladies and gentlemen, my guest has been Abigail Noel, who is a psychic. And there's a lot of things that she brought forth tonight that mainstream media has not been able to bring to you. And again, thanks to each and every one. I still got about 15 minutes left. Still, thanks to you again, and I can't thank you enough that this audience, the audience of the Thaddeus Matthews Show, was able to raise $6,000 for Deborah Marion. We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be back. Woo! Hell, she can talk as well as I can. Woo! God. Did I have any more papers on Lorenzen? There was some I thought I brought. was talking about on this particular case. I had,
Oh, I just.
no.
That's not in the.
It was something I thought I. Wait, let me look at this. I'm tired. Oh, take this. This is not what I'm looking for.
I need to get to reflections.
Oh. You all may want to share this on your pages. You'll probably come back and view it again on tonight. Where, oh, where is Shara? Y'all do remember that she never offered a dime for the reward. It won't be going to court for a while. It'll be late sometimes next year before it goes anywhere. Mike show on tape tonight, eh? Mike show. I'm so ready to lay down, boy. It's been a long day.
Yes.
One more commercial.
Yeah, run it. Some folk think Cheryl gonna commit suicide.
Yeah, I saw that.
See, but if she shoot herself in the head, she need to shoot herself on this side. Okay, this the viewing side over here. Yeah, be hard work for the undertaker when you shoot yourself on this side, but you shoot yourself over here, it works out. But then you get the folk in the casket, they be looking all over there.
Yeah.
They won't see everything.
Mine went.
I'm tired, Pastor, tired tonight.
1 minute.
Oh. How many minutes I got left all together?
You have 5.
Oh. That's far too long. They're with their mother and buried in California, Anthony Collins.
20 seconds. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2.
And here we are in the remaining minutes of the most controversial television talk show anywhere on the planet. And we just give you the naked truth. I invite you this Sunday morning to come and share in our morning worship. 10 a.m. Naked Truth Liberation and Empowerment Ministries. You may want to raise that up a little bit because I can't. Yeah. 3835 Raleigh Militant Road. That's where we're located in the very heart of the Raleigh area. And our thing is all about outreach and outreach, lifting you up, and empowerment. And we invite you. While some talk about it, I believe in being about it. Hope that you have enjoyed this show on tonight. I'm sure everyone is watching, including the Memphis Police Department. And what they got to figure out now is what else I'm about to dig up, because there's a few little things I'm interested in knowing. But this mother has went through this long enough. But, you know, here's the thing I be wondering. If you done killed somebody, do you tell somebody you done killed somebody? I mean, that would be stupid within itself. You know, and I do believe that the person that told where the gun is may not be one of the people that is physically involved in this case, but you done told somebody, we killed him and threw the gun late. They done got caught up on another charge, and they done struck a deal. I don't believe Billy Ray is going to beat that charge. Do you think somebody laid up, Billy Ray was laid up in somebody's arms, and she done gave him some, and cause look, what kind of coochie did I call that coochie the other night? What did I call it? The extra power? What did I call it, Dale?
I can't remember.
Superpower coochie?
Whatever it was.
Huh? What did I call it?
Extra strength.
Extra strength. Yeah. See, from all these men that she was getting to do all this crazy stuff, She had some extra strength coochie. She gave it, she put, see, look, all men can't stand the extra strength coochie. Y'all can't stand the extra strength coochie. So she dropped the extra strength coochie on him, and he lost his damn mind. So he done told, because he ain't with her no more, he was dreaming about her one night, and the woman he was with now, that they had the baby shower the other week for the little foster baby that they got, that they probably gonna take the little foster child now. I did it. She might have some mediocre, but he was thinking about the extra strength, and he just, whoo, extra strength. I don't mean no extra strength coochie. I swear for the Lord, I don't want none of that. No. See, Tammy Tate, maximum strength is okay, but that extra strength coochie, woo, that extra strength coochie mess you up every time. They ain't even got no serum or no antidote. You can't take no shot. When you done had some extra strength coochie, you can't, ain't no vaccine for it. You can't take a vaccination for some extra, Yeah, for that extra strength. He in the jail right now, in that cell, he missing that extra strength. But then it may be, old Bubba might get them, I got some extra strength for you. All right, hey, don't forget, if you need a gun, prepare to call my good friend Sean Goldsmith, security. Cause I just thought something silly, I did. They said the girl got the palsy. See, I should have said something. The Bell palsy, she got a stroke on one side. So you get the coochie on the good side. Don't look like the coochie handicap. Anyway, 634, stop Thaddeus, 634-8384. Y'all call it. You need some insurance, some burial insurance, up to $3,000. Call Heritage Funeral Advantage, 649-473. So your ass don't have to call me about burying your damn folk, okay? I ain't gonna bury your folk, so here's the number, 649-4738. They give you up to $300,000. So call John, 649-473. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a plum-pleasing pleasure to have been here with you tonight. I've enjoyed this. Ain't no telling what the hell I'm gonna do on tomorrow night. Y'all know y'all need to be advertising on the Thaddeus Matthews Show. Politicians, y'all can go ahead on and call me too, 949-3000. Thank you for being here. Until tomorrow, I'm a bad man. I'm the baddest man that does this. I'm Thaddeus Matthews. Top of the evening to you. Woo! What, you changing the wires?
No, I'm trying.
Yeah, who is this?
What's going on?
Who is this?
This Bobby Cole brother.
This Bobby Cole's brother.
Yeah, I just watched your show.
Okay.
Like you don't know what the hell she talking about, man.
You Bobby Cole's brother.
Yeah.
And what?
I got your number. I'm gonna call you tomorrow. We can have a discussion. We need to put the dinner on.
So, why you don't think the woman telling the truth?
No, shit. A lot of the shit, she don't know what she's talking about.
So you know the answers?
Bobby, I'm his brother. When she said Bobby Cole's wife lives in Oxford, Bobby Cole's wife lives in West Memphis.
Well.
Then she said they took 2 cars, he bought 3 cars from him. It's a lot of shit she don't know what she's talking about.
Is your brother still in jail?
No, he out.
He out?
Yeah.
You don't think your brother had nothing to do with Lorenzen getting killed?
Why? I mean, what's the purpose?
I don't know. Hell.
No, man.
Was he fucking Cheryl too?
Hell no. No, but it wasn't none of that, man. I'll sit down face to face with you tomorrow.
Okay, well, give me a call.
I got your number. I call you tomorrow.
All right, brother.
Okay.
And it just keeps getting deeper and deeper. Now, why the brother calling me? Who else you gonna call but the Thaddeus Bear? And what else what else he gonna say? I mean, yeah, my brother killed him. Sure did. He was fucking her too. She got that extra strength, coochie. Woo. To all you women with the extra strength tonight, well, y'all have a good night. And if your man ain't got nothing to work with, tell him to come by and get some juice or some coffee. Ooh, Jesus, I'm tired, y'all. What's the #1 talk show on the planet? It's the Thaddeus Matthews Show. Ain't no telling who else gonna call me or who I'm gonna call. Good night, y'all.